What's up, everybody? I thought I'd kind of do this video here as best I can. A little bit of response to Linkara's AT4W, the top of the fourth wall, 200th review, which I congratulate him on, 200 episodes. But do a response to One More Day. Now, I have the first issue to One More Day. Believe it or not, I have the first issue 544 of One More, basically the first part to One More Day. And I didn't really follow up on it. That's my fault. But I can understand maybe where Linkara is coming from, because there's a lot of fans that feel similar to a current situation going on in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. Well, it's not similar, but it's kind of like in the same situation, kind of in the same category somewhat. Basically to me, this is just my personal opinion, because I haven't read the rest of One More Day. But from what I've understood by watching this review, and from what other people have said, One More Day basically rebooted everything up to the point that, he never met Mary Jane, but they do remember. So basically, up to the point, I guess, of around after Gwen Stacy or something like that, I don't know. Which is really confusing, because they don't give you, obviously from what I understand, they don't give you a specific timeline as to when the new beginning, the brand new day takes place. But I can understand how some fans feel. You got an issue, I think I have it somewhere, where you have Spider-Man and Mary Jane get married. In fact, if you take a look at most of the Spider-Man anniversary issues, well, the one I more specifically have, issue 500, it's Mary Jane and Spider-Man on the front cover with the villains in the background. So, I can understand what fans are like, well, why would Joker Sato or JMS do this? And honestly, here's the reason. Depending on the year it came out, it's to reboot the entire franchise. Now, apparently it came out when the third movie was released. And what that means is the third movie was released. We also had some new animated shows coming out. So I guess to coincide with the new animated shows or something like that, I don't really know. Well, because the third movie was the last in the original trilogy, they wanted to reboot it because obviously word had gotten out that same year or so that they were going to reboot the franchise anyway in the movie category. So to me, I think that's why they did One More Day. They're thinking, hey, let us do our reboot first, and then you guys in the movie business can do yours. Also, I can understand that perhaps, there are some fans that are happy with this. It's kind of similar to the Sonic comic right now. Some fans are happy of a certain situation going on because a certain blue hero isn't with a certain princess, and in their opinion doesn't need to be with a certain princess. And in the eyes, and basically similar in some ways to Spider-Man, they feel Spider-Man should be Spider-Man. He should be Peter Parker, a guy that can have love interest but shouldn't have to settle down because of his life. But it's also, to me, because of one other reason. Again, it's about the comics. It's not about the comics, but it's about something that, well, basically it's about something similar to any kind of comic, especially the one I'm a fan of, that I'm subscribed to currently, and that is bringing in a new generation. You gotta look at all these Spider-Man movies that have come out, the new Spider-Man shows that have been out lately, cartoon-wise. It's targeted to a new generation. A new generation is discovering this, and this new generation is like, I don't know much about Mary Jane or how she got together with Peter. And then they see Gwen and hear about Gwen. Basically, they don't know the history. So that's why One More Day's done the way it is. Now, I don't know if they're going to be fixing it or not. Hopefully they have, or they're on the verge of doing so. But One More Day was basically done for the specific reason, in my opinion, because of a new generation of fans that didn't know much of the origin or how Mary Jane fell in love with Peter Parker and vice versa. And then they hear about Gwen and this woman and that, this and that. So they want to have a fresh start, and that's basically what One More Day does. It gives them, that's basically, in my opinion, what the premise of One More Day / Brand New Day does. It gives the newer readers, the new generation, a fresh start, a fresh origin start to Peter Parker's life. And yes, it probably does keep him as a young teenage, young adult guy, in which many people like Lewis Linkara, if you will, do not like. And again, it's similar to what's going on in the comics here, in the Sonic comics at times. You know, fans want to see Sonic with Sally, and you know, some fans don't. Fans want him to be the way he is, and blah blah blah. You know, and now you got the situation to where it's like, okay, you know, here's this, here's that. You know, fans want it this way, fans want it that way. And in a sense, you know, it's kind of like, it's like what Ian Flynn said, and I did a video on this, repeating what he said. It's like there's no pleasing anyone, and it's true. There's no pleasing anyone, and it's not just with Ian Flynn. It's with the guys that did One More Day and Brand New Day. Do I agree that they should have done that? No, I don't agree with it, but they did it. And again, it's to bring in a new generation, just like with this current story arc. When they did Genesis in the Sonic comic books, it was to bring in a new generation, a new fan base, and basically give them a more rebooted, kind of like what if this kind of happened origin of how Sonic met his friends, met Sally, Rotor, and Antoine and Tails, and vice versa. That's basically what this whole thing with One More Day is. We may not like it, we may hate it with a passion, at times, some of us, but that we just got to accept it. And if they're going to fix it, let them fix it. You know, if it's going to take time, so be it. Again, to me, it's just to reboot it for the new generation, and especially with the new movie, as it was being talked about even back when the third movie came out. You know, the new movie that just came out, like I said, it was being discussed back then, especially with Ultimate Spider-Man when it came out, and Spectacular Spider-Man, and, you know, it's basically a reboot in some ways for the new generation of fans that are getting into Spider-Man. Do we like what they do? Does anybody like what DC did with the reboot? No, not many people like it, but it's always going to end up in the same direction as the originals. But again, it's all about giving a new generation of fans a fresh start and a fresh look at the origins of how things came to be. We may not like it. Hey, there are fans of the Sonic comic that may not like what's happened to Sally, and don't like the way the characters, game-wise, original-wise, SatAM-wise, are being written, or the villains are being written, or how stories are going down, or how certain things are being developing or occurring. But you got to deal with it. And we just got to wait and see what happens. You know, you can do what I do. You can choose not to read it until said event is over, and then read all the issues best you can, and give your best, basically read all the issues, or scan through them, read them as best you can, and then kind of give your best analysis and review. You know, you could do that with something like, say, an event like One More Day. But again, it's something we just got to deal with. And it's all about bringing in the new readers, the new generation, the new fans. That is why One More Day and Brand New Day were done. That's why this current story, that's why Genesis and Sonic was done. That's why the reboot in DC was done. So that's just my reply to, so basically, this is my reply, in my opinion, of why One More Day was done. So comment down below, video response if you like. I'll talk to y'all later.